Hi there, this is Alvin, and welcome to the Kickstart Commerce podcast, where we share search marketing and domain name investing strategies to help grow your business. It is the final day of 2020. That's right, we have endured through a year of just colossal change, great loss at a personal level, at a professional level for some of us, but we have weathered the storm. And so in today's final episode of 2020 of Kickstart Commerce podcast, I'll recap and discuss the 9 domain predictions I made for 2020 now that it's figuratively and literally hindsight. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute, that 2020 is hindsight in a literal way. So with that, let's dive in with the first of 9 domain predictions for 2020. Number 1, NamesCon right of the dot live auction will net $3 million. Ooh, y'all look, kitty. Yeah, I missed this one. This prediction pretty bad. While I had high hopes for NamesCon nailing and netting the $3 million, the in-person conference sold just over $1.8 million, and that's USD, across 74 sold domains in person out of 136 total domains. Ad.com led the way at $800,000, followed by Offices.com, $260,000, and Please.com for $141,000. And for some reason, though, I couldn't find it. I was searching online, and I really didn't dig that deep. But for some reason, Offices.com at $260,000 sticks out to me. I don't know that sale actually happened, or maybe it was Ad.com. It was one of the two that did not happen and didn't stick. So it happened in the moment, but then I don't know if somebody just got cold feet, changed their mind, or what happened. But if my memory serves me well, and please certainly respond in the comments and let me know if I just dreamt this up. I mean, after all, it is 2020, or whether or not this is something that was true. But nevertheless, hey, to our surprise in 2020, little did we realize that that another auction, a virtual auction, would take place some 6 to 7 months later at NamesCon online. In my opinion, I believe the auction is one of the activities that strongly tied to in-person involvement to drive sales. And so, you know, in this case, like I said, I mean, that's barely just over $1.8 million. Like I said, I was looking for it to be somewhere around about that $3 million mark. I do believe that auctions are very much have a strong tie to in-person involvement, and that in-person energy really drives some of these sales. And so we'll just have to see what adjustments are made for NamesCon 2021, as it will too be an online only event. So nevertheless, whether with or without NamesCon online auction results, I missed this prediction. Not starting out good, Brown. Not starting out good. But hey, moving right along. Number 2. Man. 2 new GTLD domain sales of $400K or more. Hey, look, even a bigger kitty. Man. Well, kitties aside, the only sizable new GTLD domain sale reported at the 6-figure level was reported on dnjournal.com, and those were shop.app, which was sold for $200,000 early April 2020, and live.chat, which sold for $125,000 in early February 2020. And I mean, looking through most of these sales, I mean, most of the 50 plus sales, at least for the new GTLD domains, reported fall into the $5,000 to $25,000 price range, with most leaning towards the high 4-figure range. So I don't know what to make of it. Obviously, I've called them new GTLDs, and the reality is they've been out, you know, almost a decade now. So I don't know. I personally don't invest in them. Matter of fact, I only hold maybe 4 to 5 names that either have something to do with media, SEO, or domain names. So I don't necessarily invest in them, don't advise that you do, but there are some stories, some success stories out there. Whether or not they're anomalies, hey, who knows? But either way, I missed this one, so that's 0 for 2. I guess always next year, folks. Always next year, folks. Or maybe the year after. Well, like I said, for now, it's a miss. So coming up, number 3, and this one really hurts my heart. Man, .io and .co reported dollar volume of sales decreases by 30%. So let me just kind of explain my train of thought behind this. So when I was coming out of 2019 into 2020, looking forward, I was actually thinking that both of these were riding a bubble of some sort. And man, was I wrong. Why? Well, here are the results for 2020 as it pertains to .io and .co reported dollar volume sales. So for .io, the results are $1.4 million across 1,188 sales with an average sales price of $1,150, and the highest priced .io sale was at $80,000, and that was bank.io via MrPremium.com. So congratulations to whoever MrPremium.com is. Now, that being said, I literally had to kind of blink and shake my head, because when I looked up sales for .co, and this is what's being reported via namebio.com for the year 2020, .co also to boasts $1.4 million across 1,079 sales with an average price of $1,304 per sale, with the highest price .co being sold at $58,000, and that is dance.co via domainmarket.com. That's Mr. Mike Mann there. So, well, I guess so much for that 30% decrease. Since these 2020 sales for .io and .co total roughly $2.8 million, yeah, that's a 26% increase for those who are counting. So not only did we go the opposite direction, I mean, with that is a large swing of me settling in at that negative 30% or that decrease of 30%, and then .io and .co said, oh yeah, you know what, hold your little .com domains, let me show you something, and bringing it to a 20% increase. And so, maybe I said decrease, but meant, well, you know what, I'm not even going to try it. I truly thought that both, especially .io domains, were riding a bubble that would burst in 2020. But even with the global pandemic, this is interesting. Both domain extensions are selling through the roof right now, including in expired domain auctions, so much so that some of these auction prices are really starting to look like end users are getting involved, and we don't necessarily know that to be the truth. We're all speculating as to why are these prices reaching the levels that we're talking about consistently, to where it used to, you could probably throw $300, $500 proxy bid and you're good. Now we're talking about, we're getting well into the 4-figure amounts for some of these expired auction sales. So we'll just have to keep an eye on both .io and .co domains going forward into 2021. So for those of you interested in .io, .co, or any other CCTLD extensions, I strongly encourage you to go listen to 2 separate podcast interviews that I've done. The first is with Kalen Karakavav, as he schools us on how to practically assess the value of SEO and CCTLD domains. In short, Kalen, he has a CCTLD portfolio size of just over 50,000 domains. No, I did not say 500, 5,000. I said 50,000 CCTLD domains. And so he is someone that is well versed in this market. He gave phenomenal insight for what to look for in terms of getting involved in CCTLD domain investing. And so that's the first interview. Now, the next interview is a 2-for-1 with Morgan Linton and Nikhil Sanghvi. As you know, we all discussed exploring and de-risking CCTLD investing. Now, both Morgan and Nikhil are very astute domain investors, having cleared 6 figures annually in domain sales and just related activities. Both of these gents touch on what's hot in the CCTLD space, as well as which CCTLDs could be next on the scene. So certainly take a moment, go listen to both of those podcasts. They are very insightful, very practical. You will leave having ended that podcast with at least a game plan that you can write down with how best to position yourself in regards to CCTLD domain investing. And so for those of you keeping track, that's the third strike. 0 for 3. This is pitiful. I mean, this is really starting to shape up to be like the year 2020. But nevertheless, let's move on to number 4, which is 2 8figure.com domain sales of 15 million plus reported by DN Journals year to date 2020. Man, I don't know what happened on this one outside the fact that I think I got excited with the reported sale of voice.com at 30 million. I was like, oh yeah, we can at least crank out 2 of these in 2020. Well, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and straight missed the boat on this prediction. In fact, bullish.com is the only domain to top that 7-figure chart at $1,080,000. The only other sales that were greater than 500K on DN Journal's year-to-date sales are engage.com, which it rang up at 803,000. NAS or NAS.com, which was 720,000, and OA.com, 614,000. Yeah, man. That's 0 for 4 in terms of these predictions. Like I said, it's really starting to live up to the 2020 expectation we've all lived through. So, yeah. Well, next. Number 5. 7figure.com domain sales reported by DN Journals year to date 2020. Well, you heard the last one at number 4 about those 2 8-figure. And so you already know I missed this result. It is the sole 7-figure chart topper over at DN Journal is bullish.com. Truth be told, it barely cleared the 7-figure of $1 million. So, that's 0 for 5, and I'm just going to leave that right there. And that's going to leave me with a mark that I don't know how to necessarily recover from. But moving right along, 0 for 5, heading into number 6. Increased domain recurring installments and domain rentals / leasing. Well, what's the result? Here we go. The bad news is I missed the prediction. Surprising, huh, at this point? But the good news is that Dan.com reported on December the 14th, 2020, that reoccurring installments and domain rentals / leasing revenue now makes up 16% of their revenue. Now, if you juxtapose that to where they were at in 2019, which they reported like 14%, while it's not the 20% as I predicted, at least it's not as large of a swing as witnessed with, that other prediction that I was talking about, .io and .co sales decreasing by 30% and then showing me up for 26%. Yeah, I'll get past it at some point, just not today. Nevertheless, you know what? That's me rationalizing and justifying. So it ends like this, 0 for 6. Yeah, we did move the meter 2% from 14% in 2000 to 16%, but guess what? It's not 20, so it is what it is, 0 for 6. Let's go to number 7, which is GoDaddy releases weekly sales data. And so GoDaddy, being one of the largest domain registrars and aftermarkets, had been reporting sales, and then because they're a public traded company, they stopped reporting sales. And obviously they had a monster year in terms of acquisitions, especially with Uniregistry. One of the things that GoDaddy provided us with, which is the good news, is that GoDaddy, they're now releasing sales data, just not weekly. So, due to being a publicly traded company, as I stated, GoDaddy's releasing sales data that doesn't necessarily, or rather they're doing it in such a way so that it doesn't necessarily interfere with their earnings reporting. So I received June's top 20 public sales in October 2020, and then July's top 20 public sales in November, and I'm looking forward to receiving August here. And I think it may have already been out. I've just not had a chance to review it. That being said, it is actually telling with some of the top 20 sales that are going through GoDaddy. And so it gives you a bit of insight as to what they're selling and what it's selling for. So while it's not weekly sales data, it is sales data, and that's better than nothing. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, Brown, you're 0 for 7, bruh. You're 0 for 7. You definitely might need to keep your daytime job. Actually, let's scratch that. Might keep your daytime job. Anyhow, let's go to number 8. GoDaddy launches a domain portfolio liquidation or expiring domain affiliate program for domain owners. As everybody, all the listeners are clapping, saying, "Oh, come on, GoDaddy, bring Christmas to us. Bring this to us." Name Liquidate is already there, and they are doing tremendous business just based upon some of the sales that you're seeing. And it's not just folks waiting for domains to get down to the rock bottom $8 or $9 purchase price. I mean, they're buying in well into some of these 2 and 3 figure areas in terms of some of these liquidations. So, yeah. As for the results, these predictions, like I said, are really shaping up to resemble all the bad misses and unforeseen shenanigans of 2020. So, short of the story is, domain portfolio liquidation via GoDaddy didn't happen, nor is it likely to ever happen. Now watch, just because I said it, GoDaddy will go out in 2021 and they will prove me wrong. I can just see it happening. That's 0 for 8. Man, tell you what, this ain't looking good. All right, but I got one final one, so let's see what I end up doing. And it is number 9. Focus on domain name protection / insurance products. And so this is to help domain investors in terms of just, what happens to your domain portfolio when you die. Obviously, we know what's going on while you're alive, but many of us put a lot of hard blood, sweat, and tears into building these portfolios, but yet we don't have adequate estate planning, living wills and testaments to really protect everything that we've worked for into the future without us. And so this is one of those things that I was, really glad to see come to be in terms of at NamesCon. And so, I've lent my way to the finish line in terms of these 2020 predictions, but fortunately, this last prediction isn't truly a miss because, as I stated, at NamesCon 2020 in person in January, digital estate planning took center stage on day 3, specifically around domain name portfolio. So this session, which was named Your Portfolio Never Dies, Estate Planning for Domain Investors, it was one of the most informative 1-hour sessions that was moderated by Derek A. Newman alongside Ari Goldberger, Mike Robertson, Mike Gargiulo, and Munish Dayal. Here's the thing. We all need to do this. We all need to plan accordingly. We are not going to live forever. So I strongly encourage you to visit kickstartcommerce.com and search for the title to view the recorded session. I recorded the hour-long session. So certainly take a moment to go listen to this. There is valuable insight in regards to taxing, in regards to bequeathing, in regards to what happens if a partnership sours or a marriage sours. How do you protect your domain portfolio from the unexpected and the inevitable happening? Again, go search for Your Portfolio Never Dies, estate planning for domain investors at kickstartcommerce.com, and it'll be one of the best things that you've done for yourself, for your domain portfolio, and for those who you will entrust your portfolio with. So with that, man, I'm considering number 9 a win. I don't care what you say. Argue me up and down. So either way, I don't care. It's 1 out of 9. Yeah, that's an abysmal 11% correct. And the same percentage applies to, to knowing what's coming next, or what was coming next in 2020. I think you'll probably agree with me. That 11% probably sums up 2020. That's the recap of the 9 domain predictions I made for 2020. It's not perfect, nor am I, but hey, I'm progressing just like you. With that, we're out of time. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Kickstart Commerce, where we share search marketing and domain name strategies to help grow your business. Please subscribe to this podcast via iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or Podbean. Last but not least, please visit kickstartcommerce.com to subscribe to the weekly newsletter sharing tips and tricks about the disciplines of digital strategy. Thanks, and that's all for now.